Hi and welcome to another book review with Amastraining. Our today's book review is very informative and it will help if you are an aspiring candidate or an applicant for Indian Navy, Air Force or Army. The book is written by the man himself, Dr. Mohinder Pal Singh, and being from a different background, the first impression that I got after reading the book was that it is self-explanatory and the language is very simple. It has used visual as well as words that could describe the entire book itself in a very simpler way. I'm talking about the SSB guide. This book is there in Amazon. It's an interview manual. It's a complete do-it-yourself DIY guide. They say don't judge the book by its cover, but the cover is also amazing, as well as the entire content inside the book is very informative and self-explanatory. So if you are an aspiring candidate of Army, Navy, or Air Force, and you need a guide or just a startup, this book is definitely what I would recommend. So I will just give you a brief about what the book holds. SSB is a 5-day testing process if you are an applicant applying for Air Force, Navy, and Army. And there are 5,000 plus vacancies in these three defense forces, and more than 2 lakh applicants are there who are applying for these positions. One of the aspects that the book talks about is why candidates don't perform well. Colonel Mohinder Pal Singh has mentioned that the level of preparation is one, because it is a short time. And second reason that he has mentioned is the misconception that it is basically a personality test. So we often tend to take it lightly. This book actually helps like a guidance to walk through how you can go ahead with the interview and the process. Unlike the earlier times where even in the book it is mentioned that 90% of the candidates used to prepare on their own, but now you have YouTube videos, you have the books, you have the coaches who help you groom and prepare better for the interview. The information is present so that even a layman can understand. There are picture references so that you follow every aspect properly. There is one example that he has quoted in the book that I would like to share. That is that there was one person who was trying to attend the course, but he was not getting through. So after having spoke to sir, he understood he is not physically fit. So as a part of SSB and to be a part of the defense forces, you need to be fit mentally and physically. So when he had a word with sir, and then he started his physical journey as well, he reappeared for the test and this time he got through. So this was one example that was shared in the book, and how experiences and coaches can just change your life if you have the right mentor with you. Colonel Dr. Mohinder Pal Singh has his own academy where students are trained physically, mentally, and they are prepared well before entering any of the defense areas. The book says there is no quick fix for appearing for SSB. There is no shortcut. The preparation has to be tough, and you need to be tough mentally, physically, both. There is another aspect that says that there is a psychological test that takes place. There are tests where you are given picture based scenarios, and you are supposed to describe what the picture means to you, what the picture depicts to you, and with your answer your personality is seen. There are more information that are covered in the book, that is what SSB actually looks out for. A person is rejected, when a candidate is rejected, why they don't answer, the areas where they are lacking. This aspect is also covered in the book. So I would just say that it is a complete DIY guide, and if you are looking out for a guide to start something, this is the best book. The link to purchase the book is there in the description below. You can purchase this book online. We have the author of the book, Dr. Colonel Mohinder Pal Singh, here with us. So it will be an honor to have the summarization from him itself about the book. So can you help us with a short summary about the book?
I'm going to talk of this book which has come out in the market very recently, about 4 months back, a book about a complete guide for SSB. So across the country, there are lakhs of students who are trying to be officers in the defense forces. And one common thing in the whole process to become an officer in the selection process is SSB, that is Services Selection Board. So this book, which I compiled about 5-6 months back, took me about 2 years to compile about all the tests which are there in SSB and the students to get a feel of it. The basic reason why I wrote this book was a large number of students do not have any idea about what is SSB looking for, how they should prepare on their own. For all other entrance tests, we have a lot of syllabus and the students are aware about the syllabus. But as far as SSB is concerned, there's nothing what you can call it as syllabus, because their assessment is a personality assessment. So what aspects of personality are required to be an officer, it is all covered in this book. Now there are, if we go as per the different tests which are there in SSB, there are almost about 14-15 types of tests, right? There are three series. One is called the GTO series, one is called the psychology series, one is the interview, and each of them have got further divisions in the types of questions which are asked or types of tests which the student undergoes. So in this book, what I've done is I have broadly divided this book into part 1 and part 2, and of course followed by another 2 parts which are in the worksheet. So in the part 1, I'm basically talking about understanding SSB. So what is SSB and what is SSB looking at? Then part 2, I'm talking of how you should prepare yourself and what are the skill set which the SSB is looking for in a candidate and how you acquire that skill set. So first we'll tell you what a skill set which is required and how you can acquire that skill set in yourself and your personality. That will be followed by part 3, which is a complete worksheet where you can practice the various tests as you have seen in the part 2. You can practice on your own, and part 4 covers a lot of general awareness and social issues and military knowledge, because when a candidate is going with the aspirations of serving the defense forces, there are expectations that he would have done some study about the various aspects of the defense forces or the army, navy, air force, whichever branch he's trying. So this book covers all of them, and it is published by Pentagon Press, and it's about 330 pages and on a very good print. It is called, will be long lasting. Anybody who buys this book will see that the pages and all are good, and it will really hold him good for a long period of time. So as far as this is the summary what I have compiled in this book.
What are the key takeaways that are there in this book that you would like to mention it to the viewers, people who are actually appearing for SSB and the people who have purchased this book?
Takeaway depends on the person who's reading the book. So takeaways would be that you will be able to understand all the tests which are there in SSB at one glance. And if you go through the complete pages, you will be able to understand how you should prepare for the various tests. So the very important takeaway which I've tried to inculcate here is the method of preparation. So what will happen is, to all the students who are unable to go for taking physical guidance or physical mentoring for any mentor or for an experienced person, they today have no choice but to just see some YouTube videos. And what does the YouTube videos have? It has got assorted. You have to find out which video to see, and it doesn't have everything under one roof, and of course it can't have everything under one roof. So here you have one book about 330 pages which covers every aspect of SSB and the method you should prepare and what are the various types of tests. So key takeaways would be that if you are not having time for much time for preparation, probably 1 or 2 readings and 1 or 2 practices of the tests which are here would prepare you completely to face SSB with a lot of confidence. So that is the main takeaway, I think, at the end of this reading.
Thank you for answering that, sir. And the second question is that what inspired you to write this book?
After being there in the selection system for over 6 years, and when I came out after being mentoring a large number of students, when the students or the aspirants, when they were coming and contacting us to understand the SSB, I realized that there is a vacuum as to most of the students don't have a written material available as far as preparation of SSB is concerned. So what they are focusing on, what are they relying on, are basically YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos, probably some of them are helping them or some of them are not helping them. So I wanted to bring out a very authentic kind of a book based on my experiences as well as on the feedback from the students. So the future students, they don't go awry, they get everything under one roof. So whatever is required for SSB, so you'll find everything under one roof in this book, and that's what I try to create. It took me over a year to write this book, and now I think it has become a complete, as you see the name, complete guide in SSB. Right.
Thank you for answering that as well, sir. The next question is, how can you differentiate this book to the books that are available in the market?
Well, there are a large number of books on SSB which are written, books as old as 20, 30 years back, some authors have written. So this book is different from two, three aspects. One is it covers the latest trend which is being followed in SSB, because before writing this book, I took input from a lot of my students, my AMA students who come back and give us a lot of feedback. So I incorporated those feedback points in that, and also I was myself there not long back in SSB. So all that what we used to see and what the students have given, that has been incorporated. And then this book, alongside the way to handle these tests, also has worksheet and some sample answers also to suggest how you should take on the various tests. And one very important aspect which I have tried to add into this is almost, to see, one third of the book is on covering the military and GK knowledge, which I feel the students must be good at when you're trying this career as defense forces. So that is all how this book is different from other books.
I would truly recommend you all to read this book. And if you like the book and this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel and share your views in the comment section below. Thank you.